Everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. You know what? Spring is in the air. Well, almost. A couple more weeks, I think, till spring. And today in Colorado, it is beautiful. Blue skies, sunshine, and I'm really looking forward to spring and summer, guys. I cannot tell you how sick of the snow I am. We've had so much snow here lately, it's been insane. And what better way to enjoy good weather than with a brand new record player? Of course, there's never a bad time to enjoy a brand new record player. Today, we're going to be looking at a record player by a company called Electrohome. It's a Canadian company, and they actually designed their units in Canada. They're built in China, but they're really cool. They're all in one. They're kind of all about kind of warm sound, you know, playing all of your media in a very cozy and trendy way. And it's going to be really cool. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to take it apart. We're going to look inside of it. But what's interesting is the company is owned by CWD. It's the same parent company that owns Fluance. And Fluance turntables are quite popular, as you may be aware. So this is sort of the little brother to Fluance, and we're going to take a look at it. You're not going to want to miss this.
This is Record-ology.
CWD, or Circus World Displays, does own Electrohome and Fluance. The Electrohome are designed in Canada and made in China. Unlike a lot of other products, this does not have an inner box. By the way, there is a couple of nasty punctures on here. Hopefully it's okay. We'll see how the packaging is held up. But anyway, there's no inner box, which is kind of interesting. When this arrived, I just went ahead and opened it expecting another box, and there was nothing else there except for the product, so I closed it back up for today. I've also never seen this before. It's a 10-hour break-in period recommendation for the manufacturer for the speakers, which is probably very accurate. I've just never seen it spelled out like that. I think that's really a good idea. Now, I don't know if you remember, but back several years ago, well, a couple of years ago, we actually reviewed the previous iteration to this unit, the Electrohome Signature vinyl record player. This is the new version. This is the Kingston. It is a 7-in-1 unit. It plays pretty much everything except for cassette tapes. It doesn't do cassettes, and I wish it did because, as you know, I love cassette tapes. Pretty simple shipping stuff here. We've got the styrofoam blocking material. We've got a plastic wrap, and the unit sits inside there, and it is gorgeous. Now, I picked out the cherry wood design. I think that was really going to pop on camera. However, the camera doesn't do it justice. It looks kind of brown, but it's really cherry. Here's the manual, a remote control, even includes batteries. And a word on those batteries. Look at this. Have you ever heard of this before? What does this say? Great Cell, E-Power, something like that. The remote is really cool. It looks like an Amazon Fire Stick remote. Really like the design. Lights up there. It's got a good click to it. Very good ergonomic feel. I think they did a really, really good job with the remote, and that's really nice to have. And here it is, guys. Just gorgeous. Like I said, it's really a bright cherry color, even more so than it looks on camera. You can see the speakers inside there. You get two 2-inch speakers at 10 watts, 8 ohms, and two 3.5-inch speakers at 30 watts or 6 ohms. And there is the logo on the fabric grille. And really, the fine touches here are just amazing. The metal touch knobs, the wood grain veneer over an MDF material. You've got all your transport controls. It does record, it does USB, all that good stuff. We're not even going to look at all of that stuff. We'll look at Bluetooth, we'll play records on this thing, and we will tear it apart. But look at this wood grain, and you can feel the texture in that veneer. It's a very high quality veneer. Finished back panel, and a little cutout here. A lot of people ask what these are for. It's just so that this unit doesn't have to be quite as deep. It has a little opening there for the records to stick out. On the back, we have all of the regulatory info, as well as the aux-in jack, an audio out jack, an AC power cord. It does have a built-in transformer, so you just have an AC cord there, no wall wart, as well as the power switch, which I will promptly forget about when we're testing it here in a minute. Don't forget your little FM antenna coiled up on the back here. You're going to want to unravel that and kind of put it down the back. And a little cool fabric tag here since 1907. Kind of a cool touch. I really like the little touches. They take pride in their brand. They take pride in their heritage. On the bottom here, we've got an unfinished MDF surface with some anchor bolts, which you don't want to mess with those. Time for the big reveal. Let's go ahead and open the lid here and see what we've got under the hood. Oh, I just love this moment. Beautiful. We've got some foam blocking material here. We've got the welcome to playing a record piece of paper, which I would really read and hold on to if you haven't done this before. Now, never take these out like I'm doing this right here. That's terrible. Never do that. You just rotate it to the side on the right there and it pops right out. taking off the little piece of tape and stylus protector. This is a ceramic cartridge, and I like how it's kind of gray tipped instead of red, and it says Electrohome on it. However, I wanted to look at that stylus up close to see really what kind of tip we're getting, if it's going to be sapphire, ruby, or if it's going to be diamond. So taking a closer look, oh man, it's got a plastic cantilever. I don't like that. And looking even closer there, we have it says sapphire. It really looks like a ruby tip to me. But anyway, that plastic cantilever, not great. Next thing is we need to move the transport screw down, the transit screw. It needs to be in the down position. Once it's in shipping, it's in an up position, but once it's at your house, you want that down so that it has that spongy kind of absorption thing going on. Now, this is the little tab to remind you about the lever lock. If you've never had one of these before, it kind of shows you how you can pull on that in order to get it to work. Looks like one of the screw covers is missing here, which is unfortunate. Still a great look though. These knobs are kind of loose, but they're digital knobs, which you can tell they don't really need a whole lot of drag on them. And you can push on them, they click in, and obviously they rotate as well. I'm not sure why I felt the sudden need to give a thumbs up right there. My apologies. I was just feeling weird. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to giving this a listen. The other unit that they had a few years ago sounded great. That was the signature unit, and this is their replacement for that. It's a very similar unit with a little bit more modern, updated look. They've added Bluetooth, and it's just kind of more modern. But let's give it a sound test and listen to the radio.
No sleep last night. Girl, I you have to say,
In for the $2.4 million fully furnished grand prize show home.
we'll hide away in the dark. Slip your hand in my back pocket.
It sounds really good. It's very rich. It's not going to blow your socks off, but it's definitely warmer and richer than other all-in-one units that we've listened to. All right, let's listen to a record. So some of that wobble is the record and not the platter, although there is a little warp in the platter. It actually sounds really rich and really full. I like the sound of it a lot. You know, there's a lot of representation of crisp highs, good mids, and decent lows. You know, I'm really surprised that they're able to deliver such an all-around good sounding system, regardless of what kind of media. Okay, now when we try to play a CD, when I first push the button, you'll notice it actually tries to suck the drawer in a little bit, which is kind of odd, and then it comes back out fine, which is really interesting. I've included the background noise here. I know it's a little annoying, but I've included the background noise just so you can kind of hear. It does have a little bit of motor noise. This eventually went away. I think it might have had to do with lubrication, but interesting anyway. Really, really bizarre, but I was very glad when it finally did go away. The actual music from the CD sounds excellent. And like I said, it eventually went away. Okay, now time to test out the Bluetooth. Really want to give this a sound test here. So first of all, listen to the cool sound when you connect the device. And then when you disconnect the device as well. Okay, and here's the music.
Quando è che ho spento il cuore, che ho smesso di...
I look up to the sky, I see your eyes, a funny kind of yellow.
And just like the record player and just like the radio, the sound was sharp, it was full, it was rich. I love the sound. These Electrohome units really do sound good. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into this a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and take the platter off of this. It is belt driven, and there is the motor pulley. And if you look kind of behind the scenes here a little bit, you'll see good ribbon cables. There's a box here that kind of separates things. That's kind of interesting. But what I can see of the wiring, it does look really, really good. Now, how do we get into this thing? The obvious option here is to look into the back side. There's 6 screws that kind of hold this panel, but taking those off, I couldn't open it up. Then I realized this black inset piece in the middle here has another 7 screws. So I'm going to go ahead and take all of those off and try to gently pry this panel off, but it does not want to budge. Maybe there's a hidden screw under the label there. I don't really want to dig into the label, you guys. Really trying to do this as gently as possible, but yeah, it doesn't want to budge. So we're going to have to go on the bottom here. I'm really hoping I don't have to take those silver screws off because those are anchor bolts. Yes, I did have to take them off because the 4 screws around the edge was not enough. To my great relief, it didn't matter because that CD mechanism, that is the CD transport mechanism, was riding pretty in there with no need for those anchor bolts in terms of stability. So taking a closer look, the CD is actually still in the drive. I kind of forgot about that. Here's the back side of those knobs. Everything looks pretty elegant in terms of the wiring design. There's not really much glue. I did see a twisty tie in one of these places. It's kind of bizarre, but overall, good ribbon cables, good quality materials. You can see the bottom side of that wooden box there that we looked at earlier. That is the speaker enclosure, and they very wisely separated that from the rest of the electronics. It is an acoustically tuned cabinet. My final thoughts are, you guys, great unit, good sound, awesome looks. If you want an all-in-one unit, guys, you really can't go wrong with this, although I do wish it had a cassette player. But besides that, it's fantastic.
All right, guys, it's as simple as that. I hope you enjoyed this show. If you want to get a hold of one of these cool record players, click on the link in the description below. Now listen, if you haven't done so already, would you do me a huge favor and just tell your friends about this show? Let's see if we can grow our viewership. There's a lot of people out there, guys, that are into this stuff, and they just don't know about this channel. And that's the way it is. Isn't it fun when you discover a new YouTube channel and you're like, wow, this is cool. I should have subscribed a long time ago. So do me a favor. This week, would you please just tell one friend or somebody, maybe at work or whatever, somebody that, you know, is into this kind of stuff, just let them know about the channel. I'd really, really appreciate it. We got a lot of really cool stuff coming up, guys. I'm really excited to share it with you. But that's all for now. Happy record hunting, and we'll see you next time.